StreamYard. And there I am. Oops. Good morning, everyone. I don't know what that is up on there. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Early Morning Tea. I have my tea in my thermos to keep it warm because I have a feeling I'm going to be sipping quite a bit with this last author, her story, her stroke story from the book Girl Get Your Life Back. It's an anthology that was initiated, started by the author Nellie Griffith. And we have had the pleasure of hearing her story. We just finished Michelle Herndon McKay's story. What a riveting story that was. What a ride. That was a ride. But we finally got to the end of the roller coaster. We've heard Charnette Gaines' story, Cynthia Young's story, Lori Vober's story, and now the last person is Angela Papousakis. That's the best I can pronounce that name. And that will conclude our study of this book, Girl Get Your Life Back. It's been a really great book, and I thank God for my sister Nellie Griffith writing this book, taking the time out to talk about her own stroke survival story, as well as find other stroke survivors on Facebook. I believe she said she found these people and enlightened us and gave us an opportunity to meet them to engage with them mentally, right? And see ourselves in her story, in their stories, whichever kind of way you could see yourselves in the unfolding of the events that led up to the stroke, as well as the recovery, the transition, the effort, the time they had to take to acquaint themselves with the symptoms, the results of the symptoms, and then to know in their heart, in their mind, that this is not the end, not, to don't put a period at the end of your stroke, but just a comma, which signifies there's more to me than this stroke. There's more to me than the results of the stroke. There's more to me, and I'm going to pour out my passion in writing and doing what my creator had in mind when he fashioned and formed me. So happy that they found their purpose. It might have taken them a bit. And as you know, we had to go through the beginning and the end of the story, to the beginning, the middle, and the end of the story to see how they evolved, how they did a reset of their goals, their aspirations, their dreams. So here we go. Again, my name is Lydia Ford. If I didn't tell you, the host of Early Morning Tea. You can find me Mondays and Wednesdays, and sometimes Friday at 8 a.m. right here on social media. I'm streaming 3 pages, my personal page, my business page, and on YouTube, which I normally do, but I'm on my cell phone as well, so I can see your comments. So come on in. I didn't post a morning message other than to say I was running late, and I hope you all can catch up. Don't be alarmed. You can always go back on my page, my personal Facebook page, and see the reruns, the replays of our early morning tea segments. Now, I want you to get ready. Get ready for what, Pastor Ford? Well, get ready because Lydia's Tea Talk podcast is returning next month. I have lined up 4 guests so far, looking for the 5th guest because I think I'm going to skip. I may skip the 27th because that is actually the designated day for Memorial Day, and people might be away. People might be tied up on that last Monday in May. But get ready, because Lydia's Tea Talk podcast is coming back. And as you may not know, you might remember, you might not have remembered that my focus this year is on aging gracefully. And so I'm going to be talking to men and women about different aspects of their life as they transition from, one decade to the next decade, and they get into that decade called senior citizenship. I should say, because you know what? I was devastated at 50 when I got a notice or a letter from AARP welcoming me into this 50 decade. And I'm like, 50? I get a letter from AARP. That's for old people. That's what I thought. But AARP has been a blessing to many people that are growing and aging, and I like to say gracefully and beautifully, becoming even more, becoming even more of what God intended for your life. So let's get started with Angela PAPOUTSAKIS's stroke survivor story. She is Colombian. She's a resident. No wonder I can't say that. She's a resident of New York City, Jersey. Wife of George PAPOUTSAKIS and a mother of, I can't even say these names, Artistis, Sophia, I can say that, and Michelle. Artistis, I guess that may be a boy's name. Sophia and Michelle are girls' names. So let's find out about her story. So it's going to take a minute. I may not even finish her story today. This starts on page 71 and it ends on 100. So probably be talking about her story on Friday or Monday. I may be here Friday, but we'll see what the Lord says. Angela is a best-selling author, speaker, lecturer, international chaplain, human rights consultant, certified in emotional intelligence, the art of public speaking, volunteer, and she's a leader in diverse press and a radio correspondent for Exploit Miami and a stroke survivor. Her best-selling book, Love, The Medicine for Disease. Wow. Oh, I love that title. Love. The Medicine for Disease was nominated for the Latino Diamonds Award. I love that already. Love is the medicine for disease. I love that. Co-author of 3 books, and 2 are in Spanish, 1 book of poetry and 1 devotional book. Soon her book, Love, Medicine for Illness, will be in English. Life, there's life, right? There's life before the stroke. My name is Angela. I was born in Colombia, and I currently live in the state of New Jersey for almost 30 extraordinary years. My parents are Hernando and Liga, and I'm the 5th of 7 sisters. Wow. My childhood was delightful between the 2 cities of Cali and Bogota, Colombia. I was surrounded by my grandparents, parents, sisters, aunts, uncles, cousins, as well as my many friends and teachers. They were ups and downs, but I had an incredible memory that I will carry into my heart forever. When I was 8 years old, I attended a ballet school where my sister Alicia and I studied. As I passed all of my exams, that allowed me to have the opportunity to study at a unique ballet school. During the mornings, I would attend artistic subjects such as ballet, piano, voice, choir, music, theater, corporal expression, art, history, folklore, and contemporary dance. And in the afternoon, wow, that was just in the morning. In the afternoon, I would study the academic parts, mathematics, Spanish, French, and science. There, I obtained the degree of Bachelor of Artistic Ballet. That's a lot. I graduated in the summer of 1988 with my last performance being the Nutcracker. I was the lead dancer. It took plenty of hard work, hours of rehearsing, but in the end, it was all worth it. While getting ready to perform for the gala, my choreographer, Clara Caranco, who was in charge of preparing Alvaro and I, my partner, in duet or in French, who is now the director of ballet in Washington, D.C. Caranco was a professor at the School and Company of the National Ballet in Cuba. She was strict and demanding a lot from us because she saw the potential in each and every one of us, always wanting us to be excellent in the classical technique she taught us. She constantly pushed me to do the best I could, motivating me to keep going. What beautiful memories and tears. So, memories and tears. Anytime you have a mentor, anytime you have a coach, a teacher, they're going to push you, push you, push you, push you. And it's great when you are going from one level to the level to another level and you're excelling, but also know that many times it can be very stressful, and yeah, it can be painful, and it can cause tears, especially ballets. You know how much time they have to spend up on their toes and do all kind of exercises and strength exercises. So I'm sure as a kid, it was great, but it was also tedious and tiresome. And yet, sometimes away from the coach, I'm sure many tears were shed. She said, I absolutely love to be able to embrace the 8 classmates during graduation again for so many great moments, experience, and memories of us fooling around. One memory was when one of my classmates, Maria, who allegedly drove a bus with students inside of it for fun, me one of them. The vice principal chased after us on a motorcycle with the security in our school attempting to stop Maria. Another silly moment I think back to was when we would hide in the bathrooms and arrive with candy under our leotards. We would do this in the class with one of the best masters, Zarapis, who came all the way from the Juilliard School in New York to teach us his magnificent work and skills. He passed away recently, and I cannot thank him enough for everything he did for us. Serapis, I will continuously carry you in my heart. I learned so much about the discipline of ballet from you that I will treasure for the rest of my life. Another person I would like to acknowledge and thank is my teacher, Amparo, who taught us Spanish. I remember her always encouraging us to read and write. Every time I sit down and write, she is someone I look back on. These were years of learning, traveling, having great teachers and great friends who have a very important place in my heart. After graduating from high school, I was able to take trips that marked my life with the ballet company. I like to describe these trips with a lot of modesty, being humble about all of my experiences. Flying to Paris was a dream come true, where we danced at UNESCO, United States Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization. There were countless of other journeys too. Likewise, participating in the International Ballet Festival in La Havana, Cuba, Aruba, Puerto Rico, and other locations. It was a privilege to meet one of the best dancers in the world, Alicia Alonso, as well as great teachers and choreographers. Wow, what a life from around the world. I joined the ballet company and I took classes in pedagogy for teaching ballet for the first and second year. I was a ballet instructor at the school where I graduated. I studied English, which is at ICESI, ICESI, which is a university in Colombia. I worked in other companies and also taught ballet and dance at the Ana Pallavo Ballet School and the German School in Cali, Colombia. The discipline of ballet and all of my artistic and academic training had given me a great basis for what I am now. The arduous rehearsals, the trips, and having to comply with the academic parts. Doing my homework was a daily routine, which on Saturday and Sunday were rehearsals. Trips would be for long periods of time with a span of a month or two. Great memories and lessons that I will never forget. So all of this stuff in the beginning is training her about consistency, persistency, never giving up, of being disciplined, working hard. And we can't just poo that, because all of those strengths, all of those things, that character building, all right, that discipline, that mindset to just keep going is going to have an impact on her. All right, when we get to the part where she tells us about her stroke. Okay, I'm just saying that already in the beginning. And good morning to my Facebook user. I decided to come to the United States to continue with my studies. I took classes in ballet companies and schools in New York. I had many jobs to pay for all of the expenses, and one of them being with an airline where I was sent to Houston, Texas, when the airline tickets were handmade. Can you imagine that? Handmade airline tickets. I also worked in clothing stores. I sold makeup. I also worked in a supermarket. I did everything to pay for my ballet classes. There were good memories and others not good, but all of them were great experiences that have brought me where I am today. So she's talking about her experience and her work ethic, and the different places she worked in or worked at when she came to America, the job she had to use to pay for ballet lessons and whatnot. She said, I found myself in another culture, even though I had already come to the United States several times thanks to the ballet. It was not the same to come for longer than I usually would, settling down permanently to start a new life, as you must learn so much being an immigrant. Leaving your country is not easy, but I bless this nation for all it has given me. Today, I'm a proud American citizen, and I've lived more than half of my life in this great country. Mm. Here, I met George, my now husband, who is a Greek man who is insanely hardworking and a wonderful father to my three children. We moved to live near the sea because of my husband's business, which was a fast food restaurant which sold Greek food and had an ice cream parlor. Now I can understand the last name, and she's from Colombia, but the last name didn't match that she's from Colombia. Now I know she married a Greek man. Okay, here we go. Little by little, we were raising the business, and it was growing. Lots of years of hard work where we could share with great human beings. During the winter, we were able to travel with the kids while the kids were young, going to Greece and Colombia and Canada, visiting both me and my husband's families. George fell in love with Colombia because of its mountains and its two oceans. Wow, the Atlantic and the Pacific, the food and the people. At the same time, I fell in love with Greece, the island of Carpathus, where my husband was born. Honestly, I had never seen landscape like those. A landmark where his sister has a restaurant. From his apartment, I could see the whole Mediterranean Sea so close from the windows. The water had beautiful colors that looked like a big pool without waves. Seriously, if one day you could travel to Greece, you need to visit Carpathus Island. It has great beaches you can enjoy, Mediterranean food that is spectacular, and understand their culture. You can also have the opportunity to visit the Pantheon and its museums. What beautiful memories with Artisto and Sophia, who are my husband's parents, and all of his other family. It's difficult to describe in words, but how gorgeous are all of the wonderful creations of God. Greece is one place I always want to visit, and I pray to God maybe one day I get to go there. Carpathos is the second largest island of the Donde Canis, which is 12 islands. It's located between Rhodes and Crete. It was recently named one of the 12 most beautiful islands in the whole world to visit. My husband, children, and I long so much to go back, but due to my husband's health issues and life circumstances, him battling cancer has made it a struggle to go back. But we know that God has the perfect timing ready for us to go back again so my husband can see his mother and his whole family. Okay, so now we have interjected there her husband, who is Greek, the amount of time they spent, sharing their families, both cultures, Colombian and Greece, getting to know her family on her husband's side, visiting that beautiful country. And now, just at the end, she lets us know that her husband has been going through cancer, battling cancer, which makes it difficult for him and the family, her and the family, to go back to Greece to visit his folks. So now we got the background, right? There's always something that comes before the incident, the accident, the circumstances, the chaos, the trauma. There's always a beginning. We got to understand that there's always a beginning. And I said it before, even when I first wrote my first book, don't forget to say your prayers. I had to go back to the beginning. I had to load y'all down what came before my daughter's diagnosis of pancreatic cancer, and subsequently the agony of the trauma of those 14 months that we were with her and that she was going through the process. There's always a process, people. It's always a process. Now she's going to talk about the stroke. Two tragic events occurred that marked a before and an after in our lives in 2012, which was one of the most heartbreaking years for me and my family. Everything seemed to be going well. We expanded the business by putting up an arcade which had video games for the children and a clothing and beach store right next to the restaurant. I remember the day vividly. It was July 18th, 2012, as if it was yesterday. I worked all day helping my husband. There were a lot of people on the beach and in the store. The weather was about 100 degrees, and I went to rest for a while to take a break and see my children. I remember I was feeling very tired and my head was hurting a little. My niece came to visit us and told me that we should take the children for a walk on the boardwalk in Seaside to enjoy sightseeing and games. But I asked her to take them because I was feeling exhausted and I wanted to sleep, and my eyes were slowly closing. She told me not to worry, that she would take them. So they left and I stayed back. The hours passed and I only heard when they came back, but I continued sleeping. And everything started before 12 a.m. I heard my son trying to tell me that he was hungry, which was rare at that time because he used to open the refrigerator and ask for food upstairs where my husband was. When I heard my son tell me, "Mommy, I'm hungry," I wanted to turn around, but I couldn't. I wanted to talk, but I couldn't. I wanted to think, but it felt like an atomic bomb was in my brain. I invite you to close your eyes, not to breathe for some minutes. It's something horrible. Oxygen doesn't reach your brain. You want to run away, scream, and you can't. There are involuntary movements that you have no control over. A stroke is very traumatic. And I still remember it, and I can't stop crying as I write these lines because it is something beyond description. It's a feeling of helplessness that sweeps over you, and you don't know what is happening to your body. I remember that I was sweating as if I had taken a bath. Every second that passes is critical. That's what our friend Nellie said. Every second that passes is critical. You are between life and death. And if you do not act in time, you can die, or else your incapacities can be worse. Seeing my son's face of terror, feeling the tears running down my face, and still unable to speak, I only heard him shouting and questioning, "Mom, Mom, are you okay?" my son ran my son ran to be the first to call 911. The police and the paramedics arrived, and at that moment, they gave me injections in my stomach and some things on my chest that I couldn't identify. I was put on a stretcher and taken to the hospital. By the time my husband and the rest of the family had already come down, I only remember the image of their faces full of sadness and concern as they didn't understand what was happening to me. It was so terrible, as if one part of my body was leaving and the other was fighting to stay. How much pain in my mind to see my husband and my three children like that. It all happened so fast, and my son was like an angel because the doctor told me that if my son had not come to wake me, I would have died. The doctor explained that when he woke me up. The doctor explained that when he woke me up, I was having a stroke in my sleep. The clock burst between my neck and my brain, and at the specific moment, if my son hadn't come to wake me, I would be dead. He said that it was almost as if something told him to wake me up, like a sign from God. After hearing all of this, I hysterically cried, not understanding why I had to go through that, but thanking the Lord that I was still alive. Thank God for this new opportunity of life. Watch this. He said it. There is a before and an after because my heart suffered. The doctor had to put a special device in my heart. You get very weak as if a hurricane and an atomic bomb had exploded in your brain. I wanted to stand up and I fell. I had no strength. My balance was compromised, and there was very difficult days of great pain and agony. I had not managed to recover when on October 28th, 2012, sadly, the super hurricane came and we lost everything we had. Oh my God, absolutely everything. My goodness, she lost everything. My God, I remember October 28th in 2011 when Storm Alfred hit the East Coast. It was close to Halloween. It was autumn in the Northeast. It was autumn in October. It was autumn, okay, in New York. It was autumn in Massachusetts. It was autumn, and the leaves were still on that tree, and there was a terrible ice storm. Oh my God, that just covered New England. Many thousands of people were in the dark, thousands without power. It was a mess, but um, it was 2 days before my husband died. No, it was the day. It was October 28th, and it was the day that we had to bury him, with all of the darkness, people on the streets just trying to get some supplies, all the stop signs and the lights not working. It was a horrendous day to try to prepare for a funeral. So, and the day before that, I totaled my car. So I had my hand in a splint. I couldn't, my hand was all jacked up. I was all jacked up. And she's talking about a hurricane came on the 28th in 2012 in October, and she lost everything. So you add the stroke, the sickness, her husband's cancer diagnosis, and then you add this trauma, this chaos, this crisis of having a hurricane, and now you ain't got nothing. Recovering from my stroke. Do I have time? It was a double blow for me because on one hand, I was battling my health. On the other hand, I was dealing with losing everything from our home to our business. Going through these difficult moments, I went on my knees with tears and asked God to help me, begging to give me courage. And He would give me the strength to stand up, because it was no longer with my strength that I would do it, but with His. My husband was depressed and my children were suffering, intertwining our hands. And as a family, we began to walk together and in resilience to rise from all that had been going on, from the human to the supernatural. We walk by faith because today we rise stronger than ever. And we know that life can put you in the hardest and the most difficult test. I assure you that you can. She's talking to us now through these words in this book. I assure you, you can get up, and that after the rain, it always leads to sunshine. And if it is not your day or your hour, your purpose is fulfilled. And they are no longer my plans. They are God's plans for my life. I had to tell my brain many times that I would be fine. The no's would become yeses, and tell my mind and my heart, yes, you can do it, Angela. Disabilities are in your mind. With God, everything is possible. You are a miracle. And if you stay alive, it was to have a different life, my God, with dreams and goals and with a purpose. I got to take a sip on that one. The two of you that are on, you need to tag somebody so they can hear this story. Tag somebody, share this story. She says, disabilities are in your mind. With God, everything is possible. You're a miracle. And if you stayed alive, it was to have a different life with different dreams and goals with a purpose. Besides God, there were two very important people to whom I will be eternally grateful: the neurologist, Dr. Saris, and the cardiologist, Dr. Musa. The two of them together, along with God, never let go of my hand. They gave me confidence and strength for my recovery, and they promised that they would always be alongside of me, and they were. When I was able to start moving, my life took a turn. I started attending emotional healing meetings and courses, as well as public speaking courses. I needed to get acquainted with the new me, the person who was a stroke survivor, the person who suddenly had to look at the world with different eyes, with the eyes of someone who was about to lose everything. Watch this, but recovered it with patience, with love from my loved ones, nourishing myself all the time to start over. Thanks to all that, I can tell my story. After my recovery, I began to dedicate my life to helping others, to have empathy for those who suffer, for those who lose. Because let me tell you that, yes, there are material things, but what matters is your life and how you spend your days. One cannot ask themselves, why is this happening to me? Why am I going through this? However, we are to say everything happens for a reason. I never thought this would happen to me. I would like to tell you anything is possible, and you never know what day will be your last, and the next could be you. Every second and every day is a blessing that in the ordinary, in the simple, with little or with a lot, you can achieve many things. I never imagined that I would write a book and that it would become a bestseller. The story of my life, El Amor, La Medicina para la Enfermedad, which translates to love. I messed it up. Which translates to love, the medicine for illness. God planted it in my heart so that someone will rise like me. Our dreams are not extinguished by what has happened to us, by what we were, what was done to us, or what happened. Neither traumas, oh God, nor illness defines us. I love that. I love that. She says, our dreams, I'm going to put a star here in my book, are not extinguished by what has happened to us, by what we were, what was done to us, or what happened. Neither traumas nor illnesses define who we are. Only one that can define who we are is our creator, because he's the one that made us. He's the one that formed us. He put us together. He knows the beginning, the middle, and the end. We are not what we have gone through. All right. We're not our chaos. We're not our addiction. We're not our losses. Come on, somebody. We're not our illnesses. We're not our mental challenges. We're not our discrepancies. All right. This is my third book collaboration, but one of the most important, with resilient women who have suffered and are survivors of stroke. What a beautiful gift of life. I could not be more grateful and blessed. The best is yet to come, just like me. You can be lifted too by celebrating every little step of the way. You can do this all at your own pace and in your own time. It is okay to cry, but don't be discouraged, and instead be encouraged to tell your story and live a legacy in this world of love. I love that. I love that. Live a legacy and live it out loud. I'm adding that part. Live it out loud. Share it to the people in your sphere of influence, and share it with encouragement. Share it with compassion. Share it with grace. Share it with love. She said, if I could, you can too. And the sky is the limit to what you can have and what you can be. Mm-mm-mm-mm. Either you sit down to cry and be depressed, or you rise. This is your season to shine. I'm talking to somebody out there. This is your season to finish strong. This is your season to expect more. This is your season to ask God to put his super on your natural. This is your season to accomplish those things that you started. He is the one that will help you to accomplish those things that you start. He will be the one that's going to complete it. That's what the word says. All right. He will be the one to complete. This is your season. This is your you had your go through to get to, okay? And you have to pursue it with a passion that says, I won't let go until you bless me. That's what Job said. I think it was Job that says, I won't let go until you bless me. All of my appointed time, I'm going to wait on the Lord and be of good courage, and he will strengthen your heart. I'm talking to somebody this morning. Don't give up. Don't give in. Keep on walking. Keep on walking. At the end of this storm, there is a rainbow. And she just ends with saying, girl, I would say it like that. Girl, get your life back. All right, get it, get it. Get up, get on up, get up, get on up, get your life back. I think it's Mary that said has a song about getting your life back. All right, so I thought it was a longer story, but I'm finished and it's only 8:41. I pray that something that I said between the pages of these words in this anthology, these 6 brave women, Nellie Griffin, Michelle Hurd and McKay, Shawnette Gaines, Cynthia Young, Lori Vober, Angela Papaoutsakis. I pray that something that I said, something that I shared in the pages of this book in the chapters that these brave women decided to tell their story from beginning, because like she said, there's a before, there's a middle, and sometimes the middle um, is kind of nasty. It's troubling. It's can be depressing, um, because behind every cloud there's a rainbow. And Andre Crouch says, I wouldn't even know that it was possible to laugh or to have a future if I didn't have rain. If no rain came, I would not know that there would be sunshine. All right. And if I didn't have a problem, thank you, Holy Spirit, he's bringing that back to me, Andre Crouch. If I never had a problem, then I wouldn't know that God could solve them. That's the song, Through It All. Through it all, through it all, I learned to trust in Jesus. I learned to trust in God. Through it all of it. I learned to depend on his word. I learned, and I found the real me. All right. I found out who I was. I found out that I can't just look for love in all the wrong places. It's not in a man. It's not in a woman. It's not in material things. Love is God. God is love. Love God, love people. The two is a match. How can two walk together unless they agree? Two is better than one, because if one falls, the other one is there to pick them up. And a three-strand cord is not easily broken. When you have people in your life that God plants in your life, certain areas, certain times, certain seasons of your life, see, it's more than just you and Jesus. It's you, Jesus, and somebody else. In hearing this story, all of them, God put people in their life for reasons, sometimes for a season. But when they were going through the worst of times, God placed people. He planted people, like he plants in garden different times of the year. There's seasonal fruit, there's seasonal vegetables that grow different times during the year. It requires different types of soil, different types of environment, climate, whatever. That's what he does to us. We go through seasons. We have our spring, we have our summer, we have our fall, we have our winter season. And in each of those seasons, God already knows what's going to happen from the time we're born until the time we die, and go and hopefully be with us. He knows it all, and he plants people in our lives for a reason. All of these people had people planted in their lives, whether they were doctors, they were therapists, whether they were husbands, whether they were children, whatever, to help them to continue to pursue, even though they experienced trauma, crisis, mental health challenges. And none of them said, I want to go back to who I was. Okay. Let me take a sip on that. None of them said, I want to go back to where I was. I want to recapture everything that I was prior to my stroke. No, they did not. No, they did not. Because as I read in Michelle Herndon's story, when her therapist encouraged her to write a thank you, and I'm going to read that again, to write a thank you note to her stroke or for having the stroke. Let me share this again. Let me share this again with you. She said, and this was Michelle's story. One more thing I would like to share. While I was at Swan, which was a rehab center, I was asked to write a thank you letter to my stroke. At the time, I thought it was crazy, but later found it to be therapeutic and it put things in perspective. I hope it will inspire you to write one. In her letter, Michelle Herndon McKay says, I want to take this opportunity to thank you. She's talking about her stroke for all the positive, for all the positive changes that you brought into my life. Yep. She says, dear stroke, okay. I want to take the opportunity to thank you for all the positive changes that you brought into my life. First impressions can be deceiving, and I was not impressed by when we first met. I can understand. She was not impressed by the stroke when it met her, it found her. She said, but since you have taken me on this journey, I've come to learn so much about myself and what is important to me. Below, I have listed some specific things for you. She's talking about the stroke. Thank you. And this gave me goose pimples the other day when I read it. Thank you for the opportunity to stop working and for allowing me more time for this process. See, we don't think about that, this stroke gave her an opportunity to retire, to stop working. Because some of us will work ourselves into a frenzy and work ourselves to death, ignoring our health, ignoring our husbands, our partners, our children, God, etc., etc. So she's thanking the stroke for making her, allowing her to stop working and giving her more time for this process. Thank you for not killing me, but showing me how precious life is. Thank you for giving me such intense creativity, which helped me to stay alive and allow me to help others, to help others. If I could drill that down our throat. It didn't come to kill you. It came to make you, not to break you, to refine, to help rediscover your creativity, your passion, your purpose, so that not that you can handle, put it under a bushel, but that you would share it and help others. Thank you for making me a better writer, a poet. It's such a joy for me. Thank you for thank you for making me need to embrace my BI community and search out my community resources. The stroke helped her to find other people, other resources that would be beneficial to her and other stroke victims as well. Thank you for teaching me that self-care is so important and that my family is very capable of taking care of things. Plus, it's okay, oh my God, to ask for help. Thank you for showing me how amazing my family is. Sometimes we don't know how amazing the people that are closest to us are until we go through a crisis, a traumatic event. It could be losing a loved one. It could be losing, a part of your body, a physical incapacity, a physical stroke, heart attack, whatever it is. Thank you for showing me my passion for helping others. Thank you for helping me to create, I'm going to say that word, create and embrace a Facebook group of stroke and brain injury survivors. She met other people like her on social media. God opened up that door. Thank you for leaving me the ability to walk with assistance and the ability to speak and do so much more. Most of all, Thank you for creating. That's about 3 or 4 times the word create came up. Thank you for creating the necessity to reinvent a happier and healthier me with less intensity, better communication skills, and the ability to set and respect boundaries. She said, I have to say that as hard as it has been, I'm very grateful for all the opportunities and lessons that you brought into my life. You actually saved my life. Instead of my life being over, it's just different. Never did she say, I want to go back. I want to recoup. I want to gather everything that happened to me in my past. It was always about more. It was always pressing toward the mark of the higher calling in Christ Jesus. Look into him, okay, in the future to do more, to go higher, to do better, to share more about this experience so that other people can be helped. It's about leaving legacy. All right. It's not about the past. The past builds on the future, but you cannot go back and recapture sometimes the things that happen in your brain, the disability, the injury, the things that may have happened in your heart. All right, in your blood vessels. Sometimes you will not get that back, but God can overcompensate. He always overcompensates for a disability that may no longer be there, or you just have this much of it. Then he supersizes the other senses, the other abilities that you never even knew you had until the stroke, until the heart attack, until the diabetes, until you lost your mama, until you lost your husband, until you lost a child. You never know what type of creativity was inside of you. But it took that, and it took this to shine a spotlight on it. Amen. So I might even, I might try that. I might even in my next book put that in there, a letter or thank you to my experience with grief and loss. Certainly, it didn't come to make me bitter, or I wouldn't be on here today. Okay. I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing today. It didn't come to make me bitter. It came to make me better so that I can share my losses, my story, which I will be able to do tomorrow night on Phoenix Ascends Global TV with Dr. Noreen Davis. I'm so excited that she invited me to be one of her guests, or her guest tomorrow evening at 9:00 if you're available. It's going to be on social media. It's going to be on Facebook. She has other social media places where she is sharing from. But God doesn't waste anything. All of our experiences, whether they're good, bad, happy, sad, he takes them all so that nobody knows. And this is in Ecclesiastes, I believe. It says that nobody knows what goes on. Nobody knows what goes on, what has been translated in your life from beginning to end. Nobody will ever know the things that you had to go through from beginning to end. Not all of it, not 100%, even though we write books. Okay. We write books and we tell our story. There is nobody that knows the intrinsic stuff that goes on, the stuff that goes on in your mind, the stuff that goes on in your spirit. Only God knows that. So that people cannot take credit. Okay, let me take a sip because y'all don't know what I'm talking about. Nobody knows the spaces and the stuff that goes on from beginning to end in your life so that they can say, I really know Lydia Ford. I really know Nellie Griffin. I really know about her life. No, you don't know from beginning to end. Only God knows that because he is the creator. He's the author and finisher of our faith. Nobody really can tell our whole story. We tell part of our story. We tell a big portion of our story, but there's a lot of stuff that happened in the midnight hour. There's a lot of stuff that happened in the daytime hour that nobody will ever know about. All right. Only God knows it. There's a song that says, Jesus knows all about our struggles. He will guide you till the day is done. There's not a friend like the lowly Jesus. No, not. Well, I don't care how many Facebook Lives you do. I don't care how many books you write. I don't care how many speeches you make. Nobody knows the intensity, the all of it from your beginning to your end, but God. That is why he's that kind of friend. He will never ever forsake you, even though he knows everything there is to know about you. Okay. All right. He knows every little thing there is about you, but he will never forsake you. He will never leave you. You can count on him through thick and thin. You can count on him. He will always be there. He will always be in your ear, in your heart, in your mind, telling you, get up. It's a new day. Get up. It's a new day. Every day that you are able to open up your eyes, it's a new day. They're brand new mercies. It's a new day. His compassion, it fails not. It's a new day. Morning by morning, new mercies we see, and all that we need. Guess what? His hand has already provided. Great is not our faithfulness, but great is his faithfulness towards us. Even when we're not faithful, God still remains faithful. If I were you, I would not take a chance in not inviting him into your life. I would not take another chance. Somebody might be watching me. I would not take a chance that there is no God. I would rather err on the side that, yeah, there is a God than to live my life any longer in this earth realm without God. Come on, somebody. You don't have to go to the river, to the water. You ain't got to speak in tongues. Come on. You ain't got to read the Bible from the beginning to the end. All you have to do is say, Jesus, come into my life. I'm a sinner. I cannot save myself. I believe you are the Son of God. I believe you died for my sins. If you've never said that, you can say that in the comfort of your home. You can be in the tub. You can be in the kitchen. You can be in your car. You can be anywhere. If you're hearing me today, I would not go another day. I would not take another step without him in my life. All right. And if this is your day and you decided to invite Jesus to come into your life and save you, just call in the name of the Lord. You will be saved. All right. And then the other stuff is a process, just like we had to go through the process. But if you made that confession, I'm a sinner, I can't save myself. Lord, I invite you to come into my life. Not just be my savior, but be the king, be the governor, sit on the throne of my life. Because I can't handle what's going on without you. If that's you today, please inbox me and let me know that you made that decision. Inbox me, Lydia Ford, to let me know that I heard you today at the end of all that you talked about today about this God that is over everything, that knows everything about you. And he ain't mad at you. He loves you. He died for you. All right. So that you can live with him in eternity. If you made that decision, inbox me today. All right. This is Lydia Ford. I pray that, and we're done with the book. If you haven't gotten it, get in touch with Nellie Griffith. She's on Facebook. She's on Nellie, Nell. Let me put it in the chat. Nell. And Nellie A. Griffith. She's on Facebook, and you can get a copy of her book. All right. Y'all have a wonderful day. This is Lydia Ford. Don't forget, my flyer, my announcement is coming out shortly. Lydia's Tea Talk podcast is coming back for another 5 segments. I'm excited about my guests that are going to be with me. And you can watch the podcast. It's going to be 5 Mondays. It's going to be maybe, let's see, I'm trying to think now, 4 Mondays or 3 Mondays in May, and then a Monday in it might be 2 Mondays in June if I skip Memorial Day, which is the 27th. All right, it's the fourth Monday in May. So I may not do a podcast on that day. It's supposed to be a holiday. But the flyer is coming out and it will actually give you all the dates, all the Mondays in succession that Lydia's Tea Talk podcast will be broadcast right on StreamYard. You'll be able to see it. I also stream to YouTube. And you're going to have to look, you're going to have to see it on my early morning tea page. So if you're not a part of our early morning tea group, all you have to do is type it and ask to join it. We are welcoming newcomers all the time. Please become a part of our early morning tea family. That's where you're going to be able to see Lydia's Tea Talk, and also on YouTube. I think I'll do that on my group page, early morning tea group page, and on YouTube, so that I can kind of increase my what do I want to say? Increase my viewership on YouTube. And you can find me at Lydia Ford International Ministries on my YouTube channel. Lydia Ford International Ministries on my YouTube channel. So watch me on social media at Early Morning Tea. That's my tea group, or Lydia Ford International Ministries. Subscribe. It doesn't cost anything to subscribe. That's my YouTube channel. So I'm done. I thought I might have to come back on Friday to do another, to finish her story. But her story was short and sweet and beautiful. All of these were. I really enjoyed this book. And guess what? This is not the last time I'm going to be looking through the pages and combing through the pages and finding quotes and things that were so. Hi, good morning, Elias. How are you, sweetie? This is not the first time I'm going to be combing through this book to find, different things, quotes, things I want to add to my own repertoire, things that I want to add to my podcast, reflections on this book and these 6 women's stroke story, survival story. They didn't just survive the stroke. They are thriving. They are authors, international bestsellers, podcasters, speakers, business women, entrepreneurs. So it's not just to survive it, okay? But they are thriving. They have gone on to pursue their passion, their interests, their destiny. Okay, and that's what we're going to be continually talking about on Lydia's Tea Talk podcast. That you made it through half a century. You're 50 years old. Guess what? It's not over. You made it to 60 years old. It's not over. There's more God wants you to do. There's more in you than what you even think. You made it to 70 years. Well, I'm testifying. I'm 71. It ain't over till God says it's over. There's still things that are inside of me that I have not even brought into my mindset yet, that I have not even. Look, God always does exceeding abundantly above you could ever ask, think, because he adds his super. When he adds his super to your natural, boom, explosions go off. Okay, creativity just explodes. And then if you do it afraid, okay, you just step out on the water. Okay, remember when Joshua told the 12 tribes as they were getting ready to cross into the promised land, he told the Levites, he told the priests, y'all gonna be the first one to step in the water. Okay, y'all gonna be the first. Step in when you step in the waters are going to do what the waters got to do. They're going to back up. You just have to make that first step. When they did, when the priest stepped, the water started backing up. And he told the children of Israel, let the priests go until they got to a certain point. I can't remember how many cubic feet there are. He said, and the Ark of the Covenant, which is the presence of the Lord, were with the priests, because they put the ark first, and then they went out there in that water. When they did that, guess what? Joshua told the people, okay, let them get so many cubic feet out there, cubic feet out there, and then we gonna follow them. He said, because you ain't been this way before. It's a new day. Okay. God is doing a new thing. Look, keep your eye on the priest. Keep your eye on the prize. Keep your eye on my present. Keep your eye on the art. But wait till they get to a certain point, because you ain't been this way before. You know, you can't get too close to them. Okay. You can't get too close. You can't get too, if you get too close, okay. Moses wanted to get close to God. God said, you can't do that because you won't live if you get that close to me. But there's a place. There's a place, Moses. There's a place that you can see me, part of me. Go hide in the rock, in the cleft. See, sometimes God is not going to show you everything. All right. He's not going to put one step here, one step there, so it's definitive. You see all the steps ahead. No, that's not faith. If you can see it, it's not faith. If you can see it, if he just plainly said, you're going to do this, and then you're going to do that, and then Sister Watermelon going to help you do this, and Sister Cantaloupe going to do that, and Bishop so-and-so, then that's not faith. He just says, step out there, do it afraid. And then I will start to part the Red Sea. I will start to back up some things. I'm going to back up my word, because my word will not return void. My word, when it goes out, it will not return void. It will accomplish that which I sent it to accomplish. But you're going to walk by faith. You got to see it. You got to, how do I want to say this? You got to believe it before you see it. You got to faith it before you do it. All right. And then little by little, he just starts planting people in the soil of your dreams, the soil of your passion, the soil of your destiny. He puts people, because when he's going to do something, he's going to do it through people. All right. He's going to do it through people, because he uses people to do extraordinary things. He uses ordinary people. Okay. They put their extraordinary on top of your ordinary, and then God supersizes it with the supernatural, and that's a winning combination. You can't even beat that, because there's always going to be somebody that's smarter than you are. And if you're the most smartest person in your 5 set of group, in your circle, if you're the smartest person, you need to get somebody that's a little smarter than you. If all of them have the same mindset, the same gifts, the same talents, then you know what? You need to either move from that group or invite somebody that's at a higher echelon that can take that group, take your purpose, your destiny to another area. That's why coaches, mentors, spiritual mothers and fathers are so important to us, because they see stuff that we cannot see. All right. They see stuff that we cannot see. And it's so important to be connected to, everybody can't coach you. It's so important to be connected to a coach or a mentor that's connected to God. They're hearing from God for you. Counseling as well. They hear from God. You just can't go willy-nilly and, because they talk a good game and yada, yada, yada. No, this one might, no. And you can't be just jumping from one person to the other, because then you get confused. This one's your coach one day, next week you got a different coach, next week you got another mentor, this one you got no, you can't learn like that. I don't even know why I went there, but somebody needed to know that. Use discernment. Vet people, because there's a whole lot of people saying they're a coach, they're this, they're that, they other. They have no experience, they don't have any following. It's, with AI, you can with AI today, Nellius, you can put some stuff together. You can package some stuff. You can perpetrate some stuff. You can pretend about some stuff through AI. They can write everything. They can compile a whole lot of stuff together, and none of it is the truth. They can make the truth sound like, they can make a lie sound like the truth. So those of us on social media, we got to be careful. We got to be careful. AI is great if you know how to use it, but be careful. Be very careful, because it can start to act like you, talk like you, write like you. And there are people that are really good at scammers, scam you out a lot of money. Okay. I don't even know why I went that way, but anyway, take it for what it is worth. I'm done for today. I went over my time and I was done before 9 o'clock today, but I guess the Holy Spirit wanted me to say a couple of things on the end. But anyway, join me next Monday for another segment of Early Morning Tea. And most likely by next Monday, more information about Lydia's Tea Talk podcast will be out. My flyer will be out. So you will see who my guests are for the month of May. So get excited, get excited, get excited. I'm excited. And I have a one man. I've been knowing him for several years now. I'm excited about what he's going to bring to the table because I know it's going to be hysterical. It's going to be wisdom. It's going to be awesome. Dr. Byron Harden, Clarity Unleashed Ministries, right here on Facebook. He's the marriage guru, singles guru. He has a lot of experience. He has come to 2 of my Building Fruitful Friendships conferences in the past. I think it was 215. He was our first guest. 218. I think he came back like 3 years ago. So I'm excited about interviewing him. That's going to be a switcheroo, but I'm excited about our guests. All right. I got to go. Have a wonderful day. It's Wednesday. It's a beautiful day in the Raleigh-Durham Triangle area. Yep, we're feeling spring. Well, we're actually feeling summer-ish today, the last couple of days. So wherever you are, Nellius and Katali, say hi to all my Katali friends, Minister Helen over there, Pastor Winnie, and all of those that are there. I'm not sure if you guys are all friends, but say hi to my friends in Katali. If you get over to Kenya, Katali is in Kenya. Not okay. I'm talking about Bishop Lamoniak, who's over the PEFA. I just miss some of my friends, my African friends. Oh, and hopefully, maybe one get back there. I don't know, Catherine. The international conference is going to be held in Sierra Leone. Women of Valor, that is international conference, is going to be held in, I believe, in Sierra Leone, where Reverend Pastor Catherine is. So you just never know where I might show up. I don't know. We'll see what God says. If it's for me, if that's for me, then I'll be in Sierra Leone in the fall. But we'll see what happens. All right. I'd love to meet you. All right. God bless you all. And I will see you when I see you. It might be again this week. Okay. I really miss preaching. I won't say I miss pastoring, but I sort of do miss pastoring, but I'm a pastor and, all the gifts and callings are without repentance. I'm just doing that work a different way. But I want to get back to bringing a word once a week or maybe every other week. And that's something I'm going to talk to the Lord about and see what he has to say. I just miss preaching. I was called to preach the word and I miss it. All right. So let's see what God says. I just miss preaching. All right. And I believe that I have that passion. I believe God is going to bring it to pass. Okay. I'll have a wonderful day. See you Monday for another session of, Early Morning Tea.